Bentley. What's up? I'll give her the Caleb and
Hey, Connor. Connor. Oh, what's up? I'm sexy. No one else. A veteran lighthouse is part of every card I do, I just get a talk to Memorial Day. She gives us a lot of
Yeah, my mom lives up there.
I have payments.
Good morning to your students, faculty, and community, and welcome to Area School District's Veterans Day program. In the United States of America, Veterans Day annually falls on November 11th. This day is the anniversary of the signing of the armistice, which ended World War I hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany in 1918. The armistice ending World War I went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. The day was commemorated as Armistice Day until 1954, when after World War II and the Korean War, Congress passed a law officially renaming the day as Veterans Day to honor all American veterans. Veterans are thanked and honored for their services to the United States on Veterans Day. We ask that you give the utmost respect to today's speakers as we honor those who serve to protect our freedoms. Thank you for attending Area High School's Veterans Day program. I now would like to welcome our MCs for the program today, Area High School seniors Chiley Thompson and Taylor Van Emmerich.
Everyone, please rise, remove your cap or hats, and pay honor to America and our national anthem. Please observe the flag by standing at attention and placing your right hand over your heart. Active duty military personnel or veterans not in uniform may salute the flag for the presentation of colors by the T American Legion Post 266. Please remain standing as the T Area High School band performs our national anthem. You may all take a seat.
Good morning. Today we have gathered together to celebrate Veterans Day and to offer our thanks and support to the men and women who have given service to our country. It is a day to honor those Americans, both past and present, that have bravely served in the armed forces. We'd like to take a moment to recognize the veterans in attendance, as well as key area school district employees who are currently serving or have served in the United States military. When called, please stand if you are in the gym, and please hold all applause till the end.
All T American Legion Post 266 members, please stand. Mr. Will Hangman, Michelle Bartman, Tom Biggett, Jeffel Curry, Don Dorn, Matt Ernster, Eric Hansen, Jolene Kaiser, Travis Moulton, Jeff Nelson, Clay Robinson, Patrick Staples, Regina Tuskin, and dig gores.
Any veterans or military members who are in the gym and have not been named, please stand. Let's give a round of applause for our veterans.
More than 1 million American service members have died in the service of our country. More than 19 million former service members are still living today. They are that special group of Americans we call veterans. Today, we will honor them and say thank you for serving. Today also marks the 100th anniversary of the dedication of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington by President Warren Harding. For veterans, this marks a time of remembrance. Each veteran has risked their lives for our country, and this dedication shows that each of these veterans will be remembered and will always be remembered.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning. First Sergeant Will Hangman joined the South Dakota Army National Guard in March 1998 out of Del Rapids High School. He joined Bravo Battery of the 147th Field Artillery in Salem, South Dakota as a 13M multiple launch rocket system crew member. He also holds military specialties in administration and military police. First Sergeant Hangman transitioned to active duty status with the Army National Guard in February 2001, serving in multiple training, administrative, and operational capacities in the last 20+ years. He deployed to Afghanistan from May 2010 to April 2011, and to Africa from August 2020 to July 2021. His awards include Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 2nd Award, Army Commendation Medal, 4th Award, Army Achievement Medal, 4th Award, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, 2nd Award, German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge, Meritorious Unit Commendation, and numerous other federal service and state awards. First Sergeant Hangman holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in History from American Military University and is working towards his Master's of Education in Teaching from the University of Sioux Falls. First Sergeant Hangman, a resident of T, is married to his wife Rachel, also on active duty with the Army National Guard. They have 4 children, Taylor, 22, a veteran, Alyssa, 17, Avery, 13, and Lincoln, 5. Sergeant Hangman, on behalf of all of us at T area, we would like to extend our gratitude for your service. Now please welcome First Sergeant Will Hangman.
I'm quite taller than the rest of us, so I'll have to hold this. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for joining us today. It's really a humbling experience to get that call from Mr. Knudsen saying, hey, you got a moment on Veterans Day. It's supposed to be our day off, right? Come in and give a speech, and really I enjoyed this stuff, so I appreciate that, Mr. Knudsen. I appreciate T area, school district, obviously. We've been in the district for quite a while, children being students. My wife was a basketball coach here, substitute teacher here for quite a while. Really tied in with this district, and it's a blessing to be involved in it. Part of my introduction, my bio that was read, covered some of this stuff, but there's eight family members of mine that are currently serving in the Army National Guard, including my wife Rachel, who's sitting right up front here. And she enlisted about 260 of those, give or take a couple, in the South Dakota Army National Guard. That's a big deal. My grandfather, veteran of the Korean War, my father, veteran of the Vietnam War era. It's in my blood, it's in the blood of my children, and hopefully their children. I can count myself among those who have the additional title of a combat veteran, or those who have deployed during the time of war. I served in a combat deployment in Kabul, Afghanistan from May 2010 to April 2011, as my bio said. And my son Avery, who's sitting right over there, raise your hand, Avery. He was about 1 year old when I left to Afghanistan. I also deployed to Djibouti, Africa from September of 2020 and returned just 4 months ago, beginning of July. In that deployment, I had the blessing of having my oldest daughter, Taylor, who is standing in the back. She walked in a little bit late. stand beside me in my formation. That's a proud thing to say as a father, to have your daughter or your son or brother or sister or whoever standing next to you in your formation when you deploy. During both of my deployments, I had my wife's brother Andy with me. So as you can see, it's a family affair, and I hold that very close to my heart. How many of you in this room have heard of the 1%? Right? The 1%. In a lot of ways, if you've been following politics the last few years, a lot of that is alluded to the top 1% of the earners, right? They're talking about taxation. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the top, or the 1% that will ever put on a uniform to serve their country. During World War II, estimates, because they didn't really have an accurate count on population, there were anywhere from 9 to 12%, or a total of 16 million of us serving in uniform during that time frame. So that was kind of the peak moment, was World War II. So as you can see in comparison, a very small portion of our nation will ever serve. All of these individuals that I was talking about share that title of veteran, a title bestowed to those willing to serve their country, and one that can never be taken away. It is also a title that roughly 2/3 of all U.S. presidents have held. That tells you something. If about 66% of all U.S. presidents in history are veterans, that must tell you how important military service is when it comes to leading our nation in those highest capacities. And that doesn't include all those that serve in Congress and all those other national seats. Many of those presidents were also what we would call combat veterans. The very first president was a combat veteran, if you remember, George Washington led the Continental Army, right? So from the very start of our nation, being a veteran is a big deal. I am part of the latest generation of veterans that served during a time of multiple lengthy conflicts that occurred at the same time. Who in here knows how long we were officially in a state of conflict in Afghanistan? Any guesses? Our nation's longest war. How long? 19 years and 10 months. 19 years and 10 months we were officially in conflict in Afghanistan. So, if you heard my bio, I joined in 1998. The conflict in Afghanistan started right after September 11th, right October of 2001, and ended very recently. So basically, my entire service has been during the time when we're at war in Afghanistan, and a large portion of that we were also at war in Iraq as well. And that doesn't include all the other regional conflicts. I just mentioned I just got home from Africa, right? Djibouti, Africa is in the Horn, and anybody that follows, all of you taking geography, if you have it, you will. That's a very interesting geopolitical area because Somalia is right there, Kenya, Ethiopia, and the Persian Gulf and all that stuff. It's very strategic. It's strategic for us. It's strategic for China, and all those things. So that doesn't include those areas that we have military members deployed to. Not a single student in this gymnasium was alive when we went to war in Afghanistan. Isn't that crazy? Even you seniors in here that are going to be graduating in May, you were not alive when the war started. But yet you were currently in the class you were in when it ended. So your entire life has been with us at conflict. So you're used to it, right? It's getting to be almost like COVID. We're getting kind of used to it. We've been doing it for a long time. So your normal is the United States being at war. So your normal is people that you know coming back as veterans or joining the service. And that's not true for those of us that are a little bit older. We had gaps in between Vietnam, Panama, Grenada, things like that. We've been at war the entire time of your life. That's really hard to believe. The focus that I want you to take away from here is not all those wild stats and all that stuff, is I want to talk about what I think veterans are. Veterans are true patriots. There's a surge of enlistments into the military during times of war, and that especially happened after September 11th. They were lined up in all recruiting offices across the nation. That shows you that our nation protects our nation. Our people love our way of life, and they will fight to keep it. They will fight to bring that way of life to others. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Afghanistan. When I spent the year in Afghanistan, I want to tell you about what the Afghan people want, and they still want. They want peace. They want freedom. They want to feed their family. They want to have a job. They want to not be fearful for their life. They just want to be happy like you or I are. And it's hard for us to picture that because of the life that we live. The things that bother us are as if our cellular network is not working, if our car won't start. The restaurant we go to doesn't have ribs that night. We were really craving ribs. It's an inside joke. It's going to happen to me later. But those are the things that we worry about here, right? Man, you should be happy that those are the things that you worry about, because after spending a year with those folks, we got it really, really good. And our veterans are fighting, we're fighting to bring that to them, to allow them to live their life free, to allow women to go, women and children to enjoy the freedoms that we do. Little girls to go to school, not be beaten for showing their skin, to sing and dance because that's what they enjoy. That's what those people wanted. That's what they still want. And that's the sad part about walking away from that, is that many of those folks will never see that, never enjoy it. But that's what veterans are. Those are folks that want to bring that to other people. Those combat veterans that served in a myriad of different combat theaters, they saw the same things. The Iraqi people probably wanted that as well. I know they did. Those that were in Vietnam, those people wanted peace. They wanted stability. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to worry about their life. They wanted to raise their children. And that's what all of us want, right? So that's what combat veterans want as well. That's why we do what we do. Not all veterans are heroes. And I might get a little bit of an argument from some of these folks. I know a few heroes. Those are the folks that we have Memorial Day for. And for those who wear the Medal of Honor or wear a V device on their medals. Anyone in here know what a V device means? Victor. V, Victor. Anybody in here know what that V device means? Anybody? It means valor. If you wear a V device on your uniform, that's a big deal. That's a hero. That means you did something heroic to either save someone's life, whether that's your fellow soldier, your fellow Marine, airman, whoever it is, or you took the fight to the enemy, those types of things. That's a big deal. Those folks are heroes. Not just because you wear the uniform. That means you're a patriot. That's what I talked about in the first part here. Veterans are selfless. They believe in something bigger than themselves. Regardless of their reason for serving, they know that what they are doing is contributing to the wellness of those around them. What they do could save lives, and they take that seriously. I gave a speech the other day for a very dear friend of mine, a man I've served with for over 20 years. He's only retiring because he's turning 60. He still loves his country to the core, and it hurt him to walk away. He served for 39 years and 9 months. That's selflessness. He didn't have to do that. And it hurt him to his core to walk away. He's a true veteran. That's what a veteran is. Family. Veterans are a family. We join for so many reasons. Money for college, sense of service, being a part of a team, having some direction in your life, etc., etc. We stay because of the family we become a part of. The man I mentioned above was like a father to many, a grandfather to the newest of veterans. I cannot explain the bond that combat veterans share, as it is unlike any other. And this is a bond that binds them for life. Lastly, veterans are you. Veterans are doctors, they're lawyers. I have a few farmers in my unit, a plumber, an electrician, even a certain science teacher from T Area High School that came home with me in July. We served together for 10 months. We're like everybody. Veterans are like everybody. We just took that extra step. We were willing to be that 1%. We were willing to serve our country, to serve our nation, care for our fellow man. I say this because we need each of you who want to be something bigger than yourself, who feel that sense of service and love of your country, and who long to be part of a great family, to raise your hand and become the next generation of veterans and serve your country. And if you can't, to serve your city in whatever capacity it may be, to serve your state, your county, even your employer, to serve. Because that's so important. going forward in our nation. So that's all I had. I appreciate your time, and I'm going to ask just real quick, is there any questions from the crowd? Do we have any time for that, Mr. Knudsen, or any questions that anybody has? A couple, real quick, if we have any. What do you got?
What made you want to join the military?
Okay, his question is, what made me want to join the military? As I mentioned, my grandfather is a veteran of the Korean War. My father is a veteran. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. My dad was military intelligence. He's actually a Morse code interpreter. You know what Morse code is? That's old school. That's what my dad did. I was born in Germany. The military was my way. I had uncles serving. It was just in my family. It's in my blood. Now, the only reason I joined is because I had a recruiter walk in and say, hey, I'll give you $2,500 to go blow things up. And I thought that was pretty cool to shoot rockets and missiles. That's the truth of why I joined. I was going to go to school at Northern State University. I was going to be a teacher. That was my plan. Okay? Had an academic scholarship. I had all that stuff. Life threw me some curves. My truth changed. And then I was given the opportunity to do this every day, and I love it. Does that answer your question? Yeah. All right, appreciate that. Who else has got some questions for me? Anything? I told Mr. Knudsen I wear my dress uniform because usually that solicits some questions because there's lots of stuff on it. Nothing? Well, I'm not going to go through what all of them mean because there's a lot. Marksmanship, right here. I'm an expert in combat rifle and pistol. This is German marksmanship. This one's really cool. I like this one, right? Not it just looks cool, but it's a really unique experience I got. It's called the German Schutzmaschine, or the German Armed Forces Proficiency. When I was in Afghanistan, the Germans were deployed there as well, and I spent a few days with them qualifying with their weapon systems, and I was able to achieve the silver in that. These are all my awards I've received. Some of them are in the bio. Some of them you get for length of service. Same thing with these. The longer the more stripes you get, the longer how many combat deployments you've got, how much time you spend, you start getting more of these on this side. But that's what all that stuff means. This is a picture of your service. So when other combat vets or those in service, they know your rank, they know where you've been, those kind of things. So I can go through all of it. That would take a really, really long time. Hopefully that answers. One more. What do you got? Branch of military. I'm in the Army National Guard. So I'm kind of dual status. I'm in the Army National Guard, but I'm active duty in the Army National Guard. So I'm just like a regular Army soldier. I just happen to be stationed in my home state, which is kind of like the best of both worlds. So I spent my entire almost 24 years in the Army National Guard. With that, I appreciate your time. I hope you learned something, took something away from this, and I appreciate you giving me the time up here. Thank you.
Mrs. Rennick and the band will now perform Armed Forces on Parade. This is a medley of all of the service songs, and we ask that all veterans and current members of the United States military stand and remain standing while the service song is played. Students, if you have an immediate family member who has served or is serving in the United States military, please stand as well.
respect for those who gave their lives for their country. Please stand and join us in a moment of silence as TAHS is played by Brandon Canby. As we stand, let us remember those who are protecting us today, both home and abroad, as well as those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty.
The T American Legion will now begin the retirement of colors. Please remain standing until the colors are retired. Just one quick announcement. Next week, Monday, November 15th to Friday, November 19th, T Area School District will be participating in a change award to support the T Veterans Memorial. At the end of the week, the grade level from each school with the lowest number of points will be awarded a pizza party. You will want to put your money in other grade levels containers to build their balance. All of the money raised during the change will support the Veterans Memorial Committee.
Thank you all for attending T Area School District's Veterans Day program. Students, please take a seat and wait for further instructions.
We said 5 minutes ago. Well, I'm going to go with that. Actually, we
Our high school evenings will say no until the third period. So we're ready to go to the third period.